All right, hey everybody, and welcome to, I don't even know what we're up to, episode 15 of the podcast, or season 2, episode 2, however which way we're counting it. Yeah. I'm your host, Jack Macmillan, and with me as always is your host, Sean Guy.
Hi.
Felix Baker is dead to me.
He's just dead in general, isn't he?
Back by popular demand is Iona Francis.
Hi.
As one of our guests. And new to the podcast is Michael, I've blanked on your last name. What is your last name again?
Van Berkel.
Van Berkel. I meant to ask you before we started like how to pronounce it so I'm not messing it up. Yeah. Michael van Berkel, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Glad to be here.
Welcome.
Cool. Well, should we just jump into it, guys?
I don't see why not.
All right. Well, it's Comic-Con season,
do it.
everybody. And so that basically means is like we're just flooded with a whole bunch of trailers and things like
Yeah.
that and all this movie news and things.
This pop culture dump just dumped on the internet. Bang, there it
Yeah.
is, everyone.
Dump is a
Digest
really
it.
good word for it.
So do we want to maybe jump into your topic then, Michael?
So for Comic-Con that came out for 2018, the new trailer for Glass, an M. Night Shyamalan movie that's supposed to be the universe superhero that's supposed to connect Unbreakable and Split together.
The amalgamation.
I'd be really interested to see, especially with M. Night Shyamalan's apocryphy with his movies and how they've up and then it's crashed down, and just to see where this goes.
Where did you drop off for M. Night Shyamalan?
I dropped off probably with The Last Airbender.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's
call.
Yeah.
exactly
That
what I
was
was
like
gonna
his
say.
make or break moment for me, I remember. Because like I really like The Village, and I know that's like, that was the first kind of polarizing one. Like a lot of people think it's crap. I love that movie.
Yeah, I had to do I thought it was awful when I watched it, but then I had to do a like English essay on it a while ago, and it wasn't until I actually started analysing the film I realised how good it was. So yeah, it changed me on that. I actually really
haven't
enjoyed
seen
The
it.
Village. I haven't seen Unbreakable, but
I've
have
seen
seen
Unbreakable.
Split, and I didn't realise, is this like a trilogy thing that's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's
Split's not really connected, but this is like connects the two. So it's like
Right.
two. Yeah.
like that was at the very end of Split. It was like it had it's Bruce Willis's character, and it was like, oh shit, it's in the same universe
Danny
as
Dunn, or whatever
Unbreakable.
his name is. Yeah.
And then they immediately said like this one was coming out the next year. So Unbreakable's like 10 years old or older. It's like 1996 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Over 20.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of M. Night Shyamalan's films, but I really like Sixth Sense and I really like
Sixth
The Village.
Sense is really
I
good.
really like
And
Signs.
I like
Signs is
Science
my
too,
favorite.
actually. Science is really good.
Signs is one of my favorite.
No, I haven't seen much of M. Night, but it's like the movies that I do watch, I really enjoy it. So I think I should actually.
I think
sit
that's just
down
because
and
nobody
watch it.
watches the bad ones. Like Avatar, nobody talks about anymore if they can help it.
Yeah.
And the lady in the lake or the
Apparently
water
that's
house or
really
whatever that's
like
called.
he's like in it as like the main character. It's like really
It's awful.
narcissistic or
I've
something.
seen it,
Have
and
you?
I'm like, yeah, Paul Giamatti's in it as well. If I'm thinking of the right one, and
Yeah.
it's like a mess.
And there's also After Earth.
Which they didn't like.
Oh
is that
my
the-
His
God.
name like wasn't attached to that for the longest time. Like at this point, they're hiding his name to get his movies out.
That's Willow Smith's son's
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I
that
never,
was
I never
such a-
saw it.
Such a bad film.
I actually wanted to watch it because a writer who I really respect, he worked on that, Gary Whitta, who he wrote like Rogue One and the Book of Eli, and like all this like pretty cool stuff. And I'm like,
It's
oh.
nowhere near that quality.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't as bad. I don't remember it being as bad as I thought it would be, but it was nowhere near as good as Book of Eli.
Yeah, no, definitely when I watched it, I thought it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Just everything. I just can't get past Jaden Smith. I can't take him serious.
Jaden Smith. I said Willow Smith before.
And
I know the difference between them. I do. I promise.
I just can't take him serious, and that whole film is literally him being serious, trying to find his dad and trying to find something to help his dad, or like a beacon or something to get them off this planet or something.
Yeah,
I
and
can't
the
remember what the
aliens
whole
are
thing-
like they sense fear or something. It's
yeah,
quite strange.
yeah. It's like these monsters. They're like literally just like predators.
No, that sounds like The Quiet Place or something.
No, it's because it's not like that. Like it's loud.
Yeah.
It's just that
Yeah.
if you're not afraid, they like can't see you or something. So there's this scene of Will Smith like killing heaps of them, and everyone's like, "How are you doing it?" It's like, I'm not afraid. And he's just like this badass.
Because it came out, I think, around the
take it
same time as
serious.
that Oblivion movie, and both those movies I just kind of didn't go see.
Oblivion, I really enjoyed. This is one with Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
I actually
Oh, that
walked
one.
in.
I've seen that.
I walked in and I had such low expectations, and I walked in and I actually walked out going, "Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was." It's not like
I
an
think
amazing.
I had the same reaction.
It wasn't amazing film, but it definitely had its
Yeah.
perks, and I did like the whole plot twist.
Because that
at
was with the
end.
boundaries. And can I spoil
Yeah.
it? Have you guys all seen it?
Yeah.
Well, I kind
Alright.
of wouldn't mind watching both those movies. You know?
Okay.
I might check them
I
out.
won't
Yeah,
say that.
alright.
Also,
But
let's-
I
let's-
remember being pleasantly surprised.
Well, that's good to know. Let's bring it back to the topic. at
Bring it
hand,
back.
perhaps.
Oh,
Bring it
yeah,
back.
God.
Well, firstly, I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was like, he's gonna come back. I was like, this is gonna be. He's gonna do amazing, and I was like, and everyone's gonna love M. Night Shyamalan again. I put so many chips onto this movie.
Oh,
and
dude,
then
you were optimistic.
I was, because I was like, he talked about how he has kids, and his kids love the show, and he didn't want to disappoint his kids, and I was like, here we go. And then, that movie was terrible. But so the Glass trailer.
I actually liked it. I think.
Yeah.
Let me be the first person because I don't know if you guys liked it, but I thought it was alright. I like Unbreakable. I like Split, and I like that it's kind of a little bit meta. It sort of makes fun of itself a little bit.
Maybe I think that's
I
the
don't know.
theme with all these bloody Comic-Con trailers. Is I think I'm like, oh, they're so cringy, but it's like, at this point, I can't tell whether it's on purpose or not. I can't tell if it's ironic. If they're, I can't tell if they're in on the joke or not.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And same with the Glass. Like it doesn't do much for me. The Glass trailer. Like I think I was saying to you guys before, like we had Bruce Willis and we had Mr. Glass, and it was like the good and the bad, like the sort of polar opposites, like the light and the dark.
They did a good
And
job of
then
that.
And they
in
just
that film.
introduced crazy.
Yeah, now there's just like this. Now there's like this third entity that's like. Yeah, I guess it is. It's almost it is.
It's
that.
like the Joker to the Batman,
Well,
and
I thought Mr. Glass and Bruce Willis's character was like the Batman, the Joker, but then this guy, he's like almost the what do they call it? The where they don't have it. He's the absence of good and bad. He's just is maybe
Chaos,
crazy.
yeah.
He's just the middle. But I don't know. It seems weird to how they kind of shoehorned him in. But I don't know. For me, it seemed kind of too cartoony, I suppose. But I'll probably still check it out.
I'm excited for
Yeah,
it.
I'd be excited too. Just when you're explaining the good, the bad, and I'm just excited to see what that's like on the picture.
Yeah.
in the movie.
How they work it in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now it's just gonna all meld together and what the movie's because I don't know what's gonna happen in the movie, so I'm just generally because it might pursue the same road as superhero movies, or I might do something different, knowing Shyamalan with his
Knowing
twists and
Shyamalan, it
stuff.
probably will
Yeah.
do something cool.
Well, I guess that's the thing is there is so much superhero stuff. Like people, it's like we're starting to like bend over backwards, trying to like how different can we make it, but still keep it, so we can still say it's a superhero film, but like get away with it.
That's
And
why I like Unbreakable, I
well,
think.
that
Because
was-
I watched it like 10 years after it came out. And I remember thinking then, like, because it's quite slow.
Yeah,
And then you sort of get to the last, I don't know, half hour or even hour. And you're like, whoa, it's a superhero film. Whoa, there's like this huge like tension
Yeah.
and clash.
that
like,
is like because that's the joke with M. Night Shyamalan. All his films have a twist. That is like the twist of Unbreakable. Is that you are watching?
It's
a
like,
superhero
haha,
film.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's like you thought it was a drama. Like it's. I mean, and it is, but it's like. And it's a cool concept. It's sort of like Superman. It's like if Superman existed, but he didn't know he was Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he sort of lived his whole life, and then someone's like, they're like, oh, when did you last take sick leave? He's like, and he's like, I guess I've never been sick, never broken anything. And he's like, I'm indestructible. And it's like, he kind of has never really thought about it because I think he's like afraid to admit it to himself. But yeah. What, so
now
are
that you
in
said
on it?
that, I really want to watch these films.
You should
again.
watch-
Yeah, you guys should
I'll
definitely
watch
watch.
it with
Definitely
you.
watch
Yeah.
Unbreakable. Yeah.
Like that's something I definitely like.
I still haven't seen M. Night Shyamalan's like gold tier. I still haven't seen
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. That's it. Yeah, I still haven't seen
I'm
that.
the
Like
same.
Well, that's
The-
definitely the one that like put him on the map. I think.
It's
yeah.
like a pretty great film, but if you know the spoiler, it's sort of the whole.
I know the
yeah.
spoiler.
Barely
Yeah.
worth
I think that's
watching
what
after that.
I think that's what made that
Yeah.
film. There's a lot of those kind of '90s movies, like The Usual Suspects is like one of those movies. Like,
yeah.
Like
I am Kaiser Soze. All right. Well,
it's like they sort of like it's like when it like the twist like recontextualizes everything. Like the movie itself is like a 7, but then there's like the twist, and it's like oh my god, like you leave that movie.
what's
sort
in
of
the
thing.
box?
Yeah, it's like again, like,
Or even Fight Club.
Let's
Oh,
again
yeah.
Yeah,
'90s.
Fight
We're all
Club was a
obsessed with
good
the twist,
one.
I guess. I don't know why.
No, but I have to say, as much as I'm not up to date with M. Night, I am excited for this film. And it's not, I don't know, I probably will end up seeing it in cinemas because there's just hasn't been that many films out recently, and I kind of miss going to the cinemas a little bit. But yeah, no, I definitely want to check it out and definitely want to watch. I'm more excited about watching the old ones than I'm about the new ones.
You should watch
That's coming out.
Unbreakable.
Because Split, I kind of skimmed through Split because I'm not a horror. I can't do horror, and it scares me. But now that there's like, it's Because it's not horror.
It
It's
wasn't
just so
too scary from
suspenseful, and
memory.
I just
Yeah.
It was
freak
suspenseful,
out.
yeah.
Suspenseful.
And it's just like this thing where I was like, oh, I just skimmed through it, and I got the premise and the plot, and I understood, and I really wanted to stick around for his acting because.
I was just going to mention that actually.
There's just like how many personalities he has.
Well,
and it's just
apparently
like,
in Glass you get to see more of him, and I was going to mention it before. I think it's just going to be fun to watch him because he is a good actor.
Yeah.
He's a genuinely good actor.
Yeah, I've
it's
sort of
so
always been a
good
fan
to
of James
see him in a
McAvoy.
role
Yeah.
where
I
think I'm biased
know
because he's Scottish, but
it's-
I
it's
just
like it's so good to see an actor in a role that's is difficult, but they're absolutely nailing.
Yeah.
And I love that whole thought process and how they like talk about how they got to that point and like what they've studied to do it. Was like the whole Heath Ledger, how he locked himself in a room for like months and to do the Joker role, and he was just incredible. And there were people on the set used to like say how scary he was, that he wouldn't get out of character even.
Almost as scary as the new Joker. What's his name?
Jared Leto.
Joaquin
Yeah.
Phoenix.
No.
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
Nah, not him.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, yeah,
Fucking
almost as
nutter.
scary as him.
Yeah.
Leaving
If he
dead
did that
mice.
shit, I
and-
wouldn't want to work with him again. Like,
Yeah,
if,
I know.
like, if half that stuff was true.
That was
whatever
such
it
a joke.
is. Yeah, that's the biggest.
He's like, oh,
joke.
now I'm turning crazy too.
They're like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like he's like, hey, why didn't I get invited to the premiere? Like, everyone hates you. But I mean, yeah, like with the James McAvoy, like his performance, like I feel like something like that, it's like you're like one bad day away from being like it being really cringy because it is kind of like you're just doing like impressions almost, but he really
He's
gives
so
it.
good at it.
He's almost mesmerizing to watch a little bit. Like I think there's probably some parts that maybe are cringy, but he just. I think it's because he uses like the body language too.
Yeah.
Like the way
Yeah.
Patricia's very sort
Yeah.
of what's the way like prim and proper, like and then like the little boys like you know he's like
Yeah.
a kid like and I think-
He's just so into it.
yeah
Like,
he does. But yeah, so Glass trailer. I mean, when is it's like next year, right? The movie.
Yeah, next year, yeah.
January, I
Yeah.
think
Cool.
it is, that comes out. So it's a little while, but not too long. But it's enough to update myself on some more films because
catch up.
I haven't seen enough of his films to say yes I have seen like to understand his whole idea of directing and stuff. I've only really watched The Village, Split, and even then it wasn't that much. Unfortunately, The Last Airbender, which threw me off completely, and I was just like not watching his films. And then but then I really wanted to see Sixth Sense because that's like that everyone always talks about that one, and it is a classic. So it's like a
Little Haley Joel Osment, like his sort of first thing or whatever.
yeah.
what happened to him? Didn't he? Did he turn out all right?
I think so.
I don't.
He was in the like latest season of Silicon Valley because it's like cause he's just kind of an odd looking dude now, kind
He
of
is
I think,
kinda,
and he's
yeah.
kind of like short and chunky from memory. I don't know. Like I'm sure he's still a good actor, but he only has sort of a small part in Silicon Valley, and it's just like, is that Haley Joel Osment? I thought, yeah.
I know he did. Was in the Eric Andre show. But that's as much as I've seen.
Who's
Oh,
Eric Andre again? Is he a magician?
he's a
Have I
comedian.
embarrassed myself? I don't know who that is. I don't think.
Is that that's not the Tim and Eric Awesome show? Is that those guys?
No. This is just.
Is he that dude with the sort of big hair like that? And he does. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's got really like it's
he
very
has the hair.
reminiscent
He's the hair
of
guy.
Sacha Baron Cohen's like TV show, like the Allergy show,
Oh, okay.
like where he interviews people and they don't know what's in for it. Like
Yeah, and
like the table breaks down, snakes
Yeah.
can come out of the coffee cup, and just random naked people just run on stage. And
I
just,
want to talk about Sacha Baron Cohen,
Yeah.
but maybe not this podcast.
Maybe
He's got
not.
a new
Yeah.
show out.
I haven't
and
watched
I've just
it.
seen the
So-
first episode.
I've not really seen much. So I never watched Ali G. I watched
I
like
never saw
Borat,
Ali
and I
G.
thought that was pretty good. Bruno, I did not care.
Oh,
You
Bruno-
watched it recently?
I loved
right?
Bruno.
All right, we're moving on. Let's segue into the next topic, which is like I guess the DC trailers.
yeah, that's
Like,
my
if we
topic.
keep on the
is
Comic-Con
that
stuff?
3 trailers have been released for DC, and I think if anyone knows, I am such a Marvel fan, and I couldn't care less for DC movies at the moment.
Is
But
anyone
they-
here a DC fan? Just sorry to
I
interrupt.
really like DC. I just don't like the movies.
This is my
Yeah.
thing about
Like,
DC is
if
I
you-
want them to succeed so much because I do want I want Marvel to have that competitor and that But like
Yeah.
I prefer DC I prefer DC comics because I just like the layout and the type of style and how like dark and scary they are for a comic. But they're like trying to transit that into like a I can't pronounce like to move that into a movie. It's just like they haven't done it yet.
It's not quite.
They're just kind of like
it's never there, and I just want them to succeed because like I love the Joker so much. He's like one of my favorite all-time villains, and it's just like no, they didn't. And Christopher Nolan did such a good job with The Dark Knight, and I was like they're probably one of my that trilogy is probably one of my favorite.
It's a great trilogy.
Like favorite trilogies.
What are the 3 trailers again?
This is like segueing.
And so the DC trailers that have just come out is Aquaman,
Yep.
which is a part of the whole Justice League thing.
Jeez.
So Shazam is the other movie that's coming out, and that's I don't actually know too much about Shazam. And then there's Titans, the TV show that's coming out this year.
Let's dive into this because I think we've all we've all got different. What's everyone's worst favorite of those 3? Come on,
I'd probably
throw it
have
out.
Worst favorite is Titans. Oh my god,
Titans.
I think it's
They're all
hilarious.
fucking terrible. I mean, if I'm being honest.
What's the worst?
Okay,
I might have to say Titans just based on
come
the
on.
production
Oh.
value.
Yeah.
Like people give like Arrow shit, and I'm like, this looks like that
Next
parody of
level
Civil War you
bottom
just
shit.
like showed up. It looks like student films. Like it looks like that. I mean, I get they sometimes make a pilot and then they get so much money, but it looked so
Bad.
amateurish.
Well, my least favorite.
Like, was it Brendan Thwaites' directorial debut? Like, I mean,
Oh, that's cold. He's doing his best. My least favorite is probably Aquaman. I'm not excited for that film. It looks like Star Wars under the sea.
like no, but I think it's so funny that
And he's
he
a
gets
cowboy, which is
he
weird.
gets bullied in an aquarium.
That scene made me
I'm
laugh.
like,
You just see
when
all these
does that
people just in the
happen?
crowd, just like looking, just like, oh, this kid's just being bullied, you know, just a typical
then
day
it's
at the
like-
aquarium.
he's like in front of all the fish, and they're all like things, but that's just like a normal aquarium. Like he's just standing in front of them.
We watched
you
it.
go to any aquarium,
you
they're
guys-
all gonna be like that.
I just love that he go like it's like he gets bullied and he like looks up at the fish and it's like, you guys understand me. like and then they like it's like the Harry Potter scene, like he like the fish talks to him in like fish
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and he's like, what? I'm a what? I can speak fish or something.
And the,
Fuck, what a dumb film.
the
We should
glass
write
starts
that
to
film.
crack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he like cracks the glass and the fish like take him away.
We watched it just before, and the
Yeah.
scene where they're like, "Hey, look at him! He's talking to the fish," and your laugh was as usual.
But that's the
I
thing.
think-
It's like I thought the whole point of hiring Jason Momoa was to get away from that dumb joke.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, Aquaman, he's a joke character. It's like you hire this fucking badass that everybody loves,
Yeah,
make this
yeah,
character cool, and then what's the
Make
first?
him
What is the
a
first thing they show in that fucking trailer? It's like Bruce Wayne being like, "Hey, I heard you can talk to fish." It's like. Get away from like it's like, hey, we're in on the joke as well. It's like, just get away from the joke. Like don't, and then now this one, it's like it's so
It's like-
jokey.
but ironically,
Yeah, like
in the-
everything he said
it's
was a
good.
joke. There was not a single line that was serious that he said during that
the
trailer,
producer
which
watched.
pissed me off so much.
Because
and
it's
it's
James
just like
Wan,
this
and
thing.
he's just got it's like Fast and Furious, and every time Jason Momoa
Yeah.
opens his mouth, it's like, "Yeehaw! Woohoo!
It's like-
Let's go!"
Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
oh.
"Shut up!"
It's like that was the best thing they took away from the Justice League trailer. Yeah, they were like, "Hey," when he says like,
Yeah, it's
like,
just
it's
like-
let's do
Yeah.
let's do
it's
more
just
of
that
that.
in the Justice League trailer, you don't see any fish, so
Yeah. Thank God this one's underwater.
I'm
Look,
actually-
I do like that whole visual effect of how they're actually quite normal underneath, and that it's just the hair and stuff. I like that, but that's like the only thing I like, because the thing that gets me is, again, the villains. They never get the fucking villains right in the films, and they're just like
Who are the villains?
Like,
I mean, Marvel. Did.
I don't even know. It's like some sort of. I bet you it's like some sort of guy who's trying to claim the throne.
That's exactly what it is. It'll be Black Panther but under the sea.
And
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
Dolph
like,
Lundgren is the king. I think, but then there was also, or maybe I think.
Dolph Lundgren.
I think
But it's
so.
like this
Someone
thing,
who's got
right?
Dude,
IMDb.
Sylvester Stallone in it too. Is it?
Yes, it's
Oh my
the
God.
Expendables 3.5.
I was
They
thinking like
haven't
Rocky.
Little
explained
Mermaid
anything.
edition.
There's no simple concept. Like, I would understand if they like, I like when movies literally go, hey, here's a couple of few shots that look really cool, in the film, but we're not going to really tell you about anything about the film. And they're like short, they're quick, and then they convince you within a minute to go and see it in cinemas and see what you think of the film without really spoiling anything. But what DC are doing with their trailers is they're literally telling you like everything. And it's just like, oh, well, now I've seen the film. This trailer was 3 minutes long. We know that they do, like, this fighting thing where, like,
Wait, so
the
did this one
redhead and the...
tell you too much or not enough?
This one told me too much of so many different things. I was so confused.
Right.
Like, I was like, okay, like,
I got
it's
that a
not
bit as
just
well,
like
actually.
a simple, it's not a simple story.
I feel like it is a simple story and they've tried to make it look complex.
Like, I don't even know.
Because there are a lot of scenes that
there's
trailer.
like this
Michael had something to say. What do you want to say,
alien.
Michael?
Like it's pretty much like those like 3 to 30 second like YouTube trailers when they just show you like a couple flash images and then the title and bam, and it's just like, and the skip button comes up.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like that. But yeah, that's like the problem with trailers nowadays. Like that's pretty much of all of them. They always
Yeah.
spoil the whole plot before the movie comes out.
I've been saying that for a while. I think trailers should be like 45 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
Not 3 minutes long. And my ideal trailer would just be a scene from the movie, like a short scene that doesn't give anything away.
Like in a little taste.
Yeah.
With just a taste of it. Because like these other ones that they showed
What are they called?
scenes from
Theatrical trailers. And they're like
I
2.5
guess,
minutes.
I
And it's
don't know.
just like, I don't need to see the film now.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they show 10 seconds of that scene, 10 seconds of that scene, and anyone who's watched a movie before can put it together. It's like, because they follow beats, like, oh, that scene where they're sad is going to happen 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
Just before he,
defeats
finds
the whole...
his true purpose, gets the inspiring speech
Yeah.
from the King Simba or whatever.
A topic I had for another podcast was like, what's the best like trailers sort of thing. So like maybe keep that in mind because
Oh,
that's like I
yeah.
think a fun one to come to because I know you and I aren't the biggest fan of The Force Awakens when the Star Wars came back, but those
Yeah.
trailers, man, they were probably 2 minutes or whatever, but their ability to not
They were
really give
better.
anything away,
They were
it
better.
kept like that mystery I think, which was really
But they
cool.
needed to because people analysed them so hard because it was like, it was such a big deal that they came
That's
out.
the other thing with the analysis, because you end up getting over the course of the marketing period, you're going to end up with 3 or 4 different trailers that show they're all 2 minutes and there's a bit of overlap, but you still end up with like 6 minutes of the film. It's too much.
What was your least favorite
And
one, Michael?
it's...
My least favorite. I don't know. It's a toss up between either.
They're all so terrible.
It's either between Shazam or the Teen Titans one. What was the title of that one called?
I think
just
it's called
Titans.
Titans.
Well, I guess that's Teen
It's
Titans. 'Cause I just
changed
forgot the title
anymore.
just then.
I mean, that's the other funny thing is they kind of did like the Clone Wars thing, like reviving it. Like they revived Young Justice, which had a huge like cult following, and they just revived season 3 for that, and that was a pretty good show. Like I watched that.
Was that the show? Wasn't there the Teen Titans show? Is that the same one with Beast Boy and stuff? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
A live action? Of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
looked like to me. I
But
mean, the
they're-
Beast Boy, like I was like, oh, that's Beast Boy, and I was expecting him to turn into like a rhino, and he didn't.
There's that scene where he like
He
jumps
jumped
into the air.
You would think that's that. I mean, again, it's probably the visual
I don't
effects
think
probably
they
aren't
finished
finished because you would think he would jump and then turn into
Yeah.
something mid jump, like an elephant or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if they've like done the CGI properly because you don't really see Cyborg. There's no Cyborg at all in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
There's some that I don't recognize too. There's some chick with wings and the girl throwing fire. Does anyone know who that is?
I believe that's their take on
Starfire.
something like that. Yeah, I think.
Right.
So the Titans, they made it a point. So yeah, I found it hilarious because they tried so hard to make a point that this was a really like MA-15 TV show. Like and Robin, he goes, "Fuck Batman." I was like, what? No.
Everyone's
Like,
up in
come
arms
on.
about that
That's
because it is so
hilarious.
edgy.
But it goes against like the comics, doesn't it? Like Batman
and then-
helped him.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind if they change it up a little bit.
And
There's
Yeah.
so many bad DC shows already.
They have such highs and lows. I find with like Marvel's very sort of consistently good. I think. Whereas
Yeah.
DC, it's like
Are you talking about the movies or the TV shows?
just their properties.
I think, like,
Because like The
yeah.
Dark Knight's like one of the best movies ever, and then they just have all this other crap, and like the Batman animated show is like regarded as one of the best cartoons. And I watched the Justice League. I found Batman a bit slow, so I kind of jumped ahead to Justice League. And I watched that only a couple of years ago, and so I don't have that nostalgia factor. And I still was like, this show is fucking awesome.
Yeah, but then they're
And
not.
they smartly do all the characters, whereas like the movies just kind of don't really seem to get them right.
Yeah, the DC animated universe is very well done and
So good.
some of the best like superhero television that's really out there is the animated stuff. And
live
Marvel's
action.
never really. That's the only thing Marvel's hasn't beaten DC on is the animated kids TV show.
Well, they've got their new Spider-Man movie coming out, so that
looks
Sony
really
have
good.
done, which looks incredible.
It does look so good. You and I were like, we saw that before Ant-Man. We were like cheering.
Yeah, we were like,
yes.
yeah.
I actually really liked. It was a few years ago. It was Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That was actually a really fun show.
That was pretty good.
The problem was they cancelled it after 2 seasons after the success of Avengers, and basically they like rebooted that show, and it was just like Avengers the cartoon. Like every character was now the way they are in the movies, if that makes sense. Like it used to be quite unique, and it used to have other they had like Fantastic Four people, and they had X-Men characters, and then after Avengers, it was like very strictly like Avengers, and I was like,
there was also that Iron Man TV show that was.
This shows
I never
everything.
saw that.
No, I never saw that one either.
It was pretty good.
Should we talk about the Shazam trailer maybe for a little bit? And
Yeah.
then move on?
Well, the thing was they made really quickly about the Titans thing. The thing that made me laugh the most was it sounded like it was all just about Raven and Robin, and I could not stop laughing when Raven was like, "Help me," and then she was like, "The darkness feels good." Like classic teenage shit right there.
We're all getting old and cynical. I think we should let the teenagers have their edgy fun.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Are we going? It's like a resurgence or something. Like I feel like they should have played like Linkin Park or Michael
Yes.
or something like that. Like, or like who was it we were talking about the other day? They liked the old Daredevil movie. Matt said he liked it,
Matt Zarinas.
and I just laughed because like all I think of that movie is like Evanescence, Bring Me to Life, like because that's in that movie.
So funny.
Wake me up! Like, yeah, it's just so edgy.
So Shazam was probably my favorite out of the three because it was kind of making fun of itself because it was I feel like it's more of a comedy than it is actually a like serious DC superhero film. But I couldn't get past the outfit. The outfit just looks so unsettling and just
is a bit
doesn't look
unnerving, yeah.
complete, and
It doesn't look like it sits on him right.
Yeah, it looks bulky and it just doesn't look like it fits him. So, but I can't really say anything because I don't know anything about Shazam. So it's like I don't know if it's supposed to be like that.
I think that's probably the intention, because it's supposed to be like a kind of a spoof on like the really like early comic book stuff. So they just made it comic bookerized the costume and made it like pretty much straight out.
Colourful.
I'm surprised how sort of kind of like almost like super bad-ish it was. Like it was kind of more edgy. Like I thought they would go the more
Shazam.
I thought they would go more like make it more like childish, I suppose, like or like for like a younger audience because it is this cool.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a cool concept of like the little kid that gets to become a superhero. Like you would
like
think that would
big.
relate to a kids. They would want to
Yeah.
market it, but it was these kind of obnoxious teenagers, I suppose. Like I thought, I don't know. It was. I guess it's probably the one I would probably want to see. Just I really like Zachary Levi, and it does look tonally all over the place. But hopefully, like the movie's a bit more like together. But yeah, it just looked kind of odd.
I got kind of weird John Hughes vibes because I recently watched Weird Science, which is from like '84 or something, and it's these two teenagers who are just like the teenagers in that trailer. They're like sort of cocky and funny.
Yeah, just like horny, stupid teenagers.
Yeah, they're just horny, stupid teenagers, and like and then that movie they like create a woman out of the computer, and like a lightning bolt strikes the house or something. It's really funny. And then in this, it's like he's like. I don't know. He gets the gift from and it's lightning and stuff.
But he looks like he hits on that lady at the end of the trailer. So he's like, "Hey, I'm a superhero." Like, Like that's a fun concept. It's like having a little kid in the big body. And so what we said, it's like, have you guys seen the movie Big with Tom Hanks?
I haven't seen it. I know it though.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like he does it's like a wishing well and he's like I wish I was big.
So he does.
And so the next day he wakes up in like this 30-year-old's body.
Yeah.
There's like
and
a lot of
he's freaking
films
out.
like that, but that's probably
But
the
I
only like
think-
quality one.
Well, he was nominated for an Oscar
it
for
really
the
was.
he really sells it as like a big kid. And this is kind of like that, but the kid's also indestructible and can fly and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I think look honestly, it's probably the one that I'm more excited about Titans on the sense of just like how bad it's gonna be, but
I think Titan's gonna be my guilty pleasure.
yeah, and but I think Shazam has probably more coming than anything else for me. That's my opinion. Like, I don't know. I just really want DC to succeed, but they're not.
So do
I think it's a fresh change for them at least.
Because I
It
do
might
thi-
be a step
yeah.
in the right direction.
Yeah.
After Batman and Superman and Justice League and even that mess that is Aquaman, Shazam at least is trying to be fun.
Yeah. I do like what you said about giving Marvel competition too, because I feel like they're just sort of getting better and being like, like everyone else is playing catch up at this point. And yeah, like
No one's
DC
really-
are like, get the Justice League out there. Like what else do we have? Like Blue Beetle, you get him out there. Like,
I
sort of
love the Blue
and like
Beetle
and Marvel,
movie.
they're just like watching it, laughing away, and then like they were like Men of Steel, they're like, and then like just like BVS like yeah, and then Suicide Squad, they're like laughing, and then like one of them comes out and like single bead of sweat down Marvel, and then they're just like, yeah, we got Miss Marvel, like we're okay, like I don't know. And
That's
then-
only like the Marvel stuff though, because there's also like Fantastic Four and X-Men, and they're not getting any better.
Have
Yeah,
they bought
no.
Fox yet? What the fuck's going on?
No,
with it?
I don't think so.
I feel like every
don't
day it's like
know.
someone sued or someone countersued or like you can't go through or like someone pulled out, blah blah blah. So
Because
I'm
I
not
know,
sure.
well, all I know is
Just
that
buy the company
if
on it.
Disney buy Fox, they own 40%.
I don't want them to buy Fox. I just want them to buy
The
their
Marvel stuff.
superhero.
Yeah, but
stuff.
it's
Yeah.
like I feel like Disney are all in or they're not.
Yeah,
Like,
I
they
agree. I'm sure
won't-
they are.
And I get it because and it's like Amazon. They're trying to. It's like the Amazon are like trying to build it so that literally. The whole online marketing is literally Amazon and only Amazon.
I don't know if this
think-
is true, but did they just become the first company to be worth like $1 trillion or something? Wasn't that like a bit of news? Or something like that.
I think Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world.
Right.
I
Okay.
think that's what happened recently.
Maybe
I
that
think
was it.
he crossed that milestone.
It's crazy.
Do you know about Disney? Sorry, do you have anything to...
Oh, no.
Well, I was just speaking of Disney. That might be a good segue into your topic, Sean.
Yeah, my topic. I do remember my topic. My topic is James Gunn, who recently just got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Which was in pre-production, I believe. He was working on like a
He
like a
was-
draft of the
He'd
script.
finished
yeah.
the first script at least, so it was definitely pre-production. Yeah.
Did you just do that just then? Did you follow it? Oh, okay, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So for tweets that were I think close to a decade old. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you want to just jump in and
I've-
discuss.
Briefly read. I don't know. I was too upset.
Yeah. So what's the consensus? So how do we feel?
I mean, well, I read some of the tweets, and I know they are 20, 10. Was it 10 years old? A
About
decade
10,
old.
yeah. I don't think Twitter's 20 years old.
No, it's not. Yeah, I think
And yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't blame Disney because they are pretty, and it's just that thing that like.
Yeah.
It's a PR nightmare, and having that, and if you're gonna release like the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, that's just gonna weigh it down. Having those tweets out there, and like
Yeah.
trying to remove that.
I sort of disagree though, because the movie won't come out for another year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. It's only in pre-production. Like by the time they even start filming it, people have forgotten about the tweets. Surely,
yeah. So,
I've read the tweets. I've read I think about 12 of them. Someone sent me a screen cap with a whole bunch, and they're pretty bad. Like genuinely, they're disturbing to read.
Wait,
'Cause I
so
finally-
what exactly
Okay,
was
so
the
basically-
topic of these tweets?
he made some tweets about a decade ago, sort of making jokes about rape and pedophilia. And I only read the tweets last night. Like I kind of read the controversy and without reading the tweets. And
Yeah.
I like made my mind up about how I felt about it without reading the tweets, which I shouldn't have done. Like I should have
Yeah,
read
yeah.
the tweets and had all the evidence. Because at first,
You gotta, yeah.
yeah, because I was kind of like, I was like, no, this is dumb. Because the thing was, he already has apologized for these tweets
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
He, like it was like some outrage and stuff like that. And I I think I posted like something on Twitter. I was just like replying. I was just like, we're not all perfect out of the gate. Like we develop over time. We become better people. And it's like he shouldn't have necessarily gotten fired. He should have been. Like he should be celebrated as like the person he's become and how he's bettered himself and his recent accomplishments of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2,
yeah.
some people's favorite Marvel films.
Yeah.
Like arguably
And
like,
some of the highest grossing films of all time.
and like but I understood, yeah, like what you said, like Disney being a company being just like not even a second thought, just like
Yeah.
axed.
It's such a
Which
knee-jerk
is-
reaction,
It
though.
is. It's so shit because it was just like some fucking douchebag who he at Disney on Twitter. He was just at Disney. Have you seen these tweets? And it got
Yeah,
like a
it
bunch
was-
of
it
likes
was
and
'cause
shares, and then Disney did that.
Someone summed it up to me. I can't remember who said it, but they said basically Twitter has eaten one of its own because James Gunn is I don't know if I want to use the word like left wing or liberal or whatever, but he is very open, like to.
Yeah.
He's very supportive of all the community and its differences and stuff, and so he actually pissed off like right wing conservatives and trolls or whatever you want to call them, and so some right wing reporter went back and found them all and then brought it back to light, and so now. Yeah, James Gunn has annoyed people who he agrees with, like in the modern, the person he's become is totally different to that person.
Yeah.
It's really funny, really.
I'm surprised by how almost on the same page a lot of people are. Like, I thought there would be more people being like, yeah, he deserved it. But like everyone I follow on Twitter, it's like everyone's pretty much like whether or not they're sort of like, oh, the tweets weren't that bad, or some people are like, no, they were disgusting and gross. But like regardless, most people I've seen, it's like, yeah, he shouldn't have been like he shouldn't have been fired. They shouldn't have given power to this like douchebag, alt-right, whatever he is, like guy who was just clearly just trying to stir up controversy.
Yeah.
Like we should have been
They've
more
ruined it for everyone.
adult about it. In saying that, so I sort of
the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah,
I would say.
In saying that though, like because when I was in this mind frame, I hadn't read the tweets, and then I sort of read them last night, and I was like, I think I messaged you. I was just like, oof. I was like, oof.
Yeah.
I was like, they're worse than I thought. They're like, they just sound like, it doesn't even sound like him. It's like a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like an edgy teenager trying to start shit. It's like just really kind of not funny and like just. I mean, I guess they were kind of out of context. I don't really know, but they just seemed. It's just like, like what? Like
yeah,
what? But we've all said dumb shit in the past.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I just I'm not really so worried about James Gunn. I'm so worried about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's like really cool.
Yeah, that's
Like I mean I don't
it won't be
really,
the
like,
same without him.
I
don't think it will be.
That's the scary thing about it, is that at least he has been in it just for like the first part, and he has left 2 films to influence whoever's going to be taking over. But it's like I'm just terrified because they are my favorite Marvel films, and they by far. And it's like a thing where I couldn't care less about what happens to him. I'm sure he has enough money.
I like him.
I was gonna say he
Like,
made
I
you.
like
He
him,
just
but,
made
like-
your favorite films. Like you just admitted.
Yeah,
that.
but like
Good for him. Yeah.
true.
Throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
But
cares?
but that's what Disney's like. And when you work with Disney, that is the mindset you have to go into, is that anything in your past, they're going to look at
See,
and
I
they're going to
think that
judge
is
you
a
it for.
terrible precedent for the future, because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that's
that's what we're talking
like
about.
a presidential campaign. You know, like if you're running for like office, they'll say to you, "What's in your past that might be brought up?" I don't want to have to do that every time you want to be an actor or a director or.
Well, you embrace it. Though. You have that app that like, hey, on this day 6 years ago, this is what you said, and it's like, oh man, really love pancakes today or some bullshit like.
Yeah,
I
the stupid
hate-
stuff
Fire.
on my Facebook is brilliant. Because
Yeah.
like I used to say it all the time. Anyway, doesn't matter. But like, I think we should acknowledge that people change, and I'm really disturbed by the fact that this is where society is going.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to get worse.
I do like. It is a bit harsh just to straight right up fire James Gunn like that, especially over this. I mean, maybe a bit more of a disciplinary action or something, but like I know it's because of the tweets and the audience, that the main Disney audience is the audiences James Gunn was going against, especially with the sexual pedophilia stuff. I mean, that's basically Disney's whole. That's pretty much 50% of its audience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then it's a multi-million or billion-dollar company.
I would
and
feel
its
very differently
image-
if he had written those tweets while he was working at
Yeah.
Disney. I think
yeah.
I think there's a big distinction there.
I think the thing that annoys me is that I feel like it's like he's being punished for the crime twice almost. Like, because he already had to. Well, I don't know too much about it, but I feel like he already had to apologize back then.
Yeah.
And he came out and he's like, I regret saying that. It's like he's tried to better himself, and then this sort of happened.
And well, what should the punishment be? I mean, like it was stupid things that he wrote.
Yeah.
But it's not like he did anything. You know, the first article I read about it said at the end of the article it was like, you know, James Gunn can't be compared to people like Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein, but what he did was still bad. I'm like, why would you even name drop those two?
True.
I saw
Like
that.
this is a completely different issue, and
I saw like a comic like that, and it was like he's getting punished for making jokes about rapists. It's like
Yeah.
meanwhile there's actual rapists in Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I mean, there's one running for office in the president, you know, and I mean,
The
all the
stuff that Donald Trump
controversy-
has done, whether or not you agree with him,
Yeah,
is way a different. It's different.
Yeah.
there was a few sort of jokes about it. Like it was like I don't want to make any tweets about Disney because who knows, they could own my block in 20 years or something, like, because they just own everything. And that's what you were saying is like the way Disney works, like that their precedent. It's like if they fucking own all the media, then we're all fucked. Like
What if
all the
I
films-
worked for Disney in 30 years and
Yeah.
they get a copy of this podcast of
Yeah.
me disagreeing with them? Am I going to lose
in
my
10
job?
years?
Like,
Should we all
that's-
say something bad about Disney right now and then see? if
Fuck
it
you,
comes out?
I
Disney.
mean, I don't know. There might be some backdoor stuff as well that might have like led to James Gunn being fired because this is
You
pretty
make a good point.
knee jerky, like just straight. And Marvel wouldn't be what it was today if it wasn't for James Gunn with the
That's so true.
I would say like Avengers. I think was the big one. That gave
Avengers
them
was
the confidence
big.
to make stuff like Guardians and go really off the.
Yeah, but Guardians is a huge part of Avengers now.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry. I see what you mean. I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yep. I'm with you.
Like, they couldn't even make... Even in the new Infinity War, they got James Gunn on to supervise the script for the Guardians.
That's cool.
That's true.
And also, Thor Ragnarok's very similar style to James Gunn.
Yeah.
Because, like, pretty much the old Marvel movies didn't have that sort of color and vibrant, like,
Yeah.
like lighting was always, like, dark and dreary. But then when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, they started putting more color in their movies. So it kind of felt like
That's
a
definitely a
new
good point.
thing.
They do keep the Earth stuff fairly like grounded in terms of the color palette. Thor Ragnarok was a good. That's an interesting point because some of the stuff in that is like questionable, like and like that it got through with Disney, like you know, like it's like oh, it's the Grandmaster's ship and he uses it for like orgies and stuff like that. I was like, that's a bit like I don't know, like it's hard to know the line sometimes. I guess how far you can sort of push it with
Yeah.
Disney, like because they even said like there's that great part in Guardians 1 where it's just all the characters in a circle just giving each other that pep talk. That it's like that. It's the speech where he's like, "I've got like 4% of a plan" or something like
Yeah.
that, and it just goes on for so long. And like, and he said he was like, I was worried that it was too long, and they like let me keep it in because it's like a surprisingly long scene for
It's
them
funny,
just
though.
sitting down like bickering with each
Yeah.
other. It's like an 8-minute scene, and it's like you wouldn't get away with that and other stuff. Like
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Oh, you need to cut here. You need to have like an action scene." It's like no, it just works. But yeah, and then Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi, he's like, yeah, the headline I saw was like fans want Taika Waititi to like direct the next Guardians, and I'm just like,
I want that.
I was like,
No, I
well,
don't
I guess they
want
meant
that.
fans of Taika Waititi. I read it as fans of James Gunn. I'm like, you're not a fan if you're already thinking of his replacement. I feel like a fan would be like, no, bring James Gunn back.
Yeah, no, like honestly, I am very gutted, but it's unfortunately that is what Disney's like, and it does suck. And I really hope that this won't affect Marvel greatly, and I think it will. I think it definitely will, and I don't. It's whether or not we can see it in the films.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean. It's I haven't read the tweets and I haven't
I'm
really
tempted. Should we read some or not? Or do you want to see
I
them?
think
No,
if
I
people want to
think
read them, they
so.
can just Google them. I think.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
But do read them before you make up your mind.
Yeah,
'Cause
don't do what I
Yeah.
did.
they're pretty
like,
bad. They're pretty
Some of
bad.
them are pretty bad. I guess the only other thing I would have to say is like how many people really care about this kind of stuff? Like in terms of like the average moviegoer, like just going, oh, Guardians 3, cool, Guardians 3's out. You know what I mean? They're not everyone is ingrained in this kind of stuff as like we are. I think like a lot of sort of the movie buff people, like they probably don't
Yeah.
even know who James Gunn is. They just like,
It's probably
hey,
true.
that Guardians
It's probably
movie's
true.
pretty cool. Like you know what I mean? And that's like I think a lot more. Yeah.
That's why I'm like trying to like lean into maybe some backdoor stuff that's been like going on between James Gunn and
You like
Disney.
you're big into conspiracies and stuff.
Yeah,
Are
a
you
little
like-
bit.
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
I guess
But
it's possible. I don't know.
Like
It's hard
it's
to
pretty,
imagine.
like I mean, these tweets happened 10 years ago, and it's just like it's kind of like a really, really odd thing. Something even near close to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie coming out or something like that. This is so it's very.
If I ever have an
Yeah.
actor I don't like, I'm just going to go through their Twitter feed until I can get them fired.
I just it's funny. Like I guess.
See, I don't like the precedent. Like, I think Guardians 3 will be okay.
Precedent or precedent?
I don't think it matters.
There you go.
Precedent. I don't like the precedent.
Well, how about that?
Precedent Trump. No, I just, to finish that thought though, I think Guardians 3 will be okay. They'll get a different director. They've obviously got a script. I think there's enough clever people working at Disney that it will be alright. I think the bigger issue there is that, if this is how Hollywood is going to be for the rest of forever, nobody's job is safe, I don't think. I think there's too many actors out there who say dumb things and tweet dumb things and have a few drinks and go to Hollywood parties that, there's just no... Yeah, I think there needs to be a punishment that fits the crime. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't read the full statement from Disney, but it sounded like the key word it was like, we've severed our ties with him. It's like, you would want them to kind of defend him almost, like be like, hey, those
if
tweets,
he's
like
an employee
like
of Disney.
it's like since we've worked with him, he's been an absolute gem. I mean, but then maybe it's like what you said, maybe he was a fucking dick. Who knows?
It seems hard to believe though. Like even
I
from
have
a
no idea.
business
I don't know
perspective,
James Gunn. I don't know
like
James Gunn
why
personally.
would you fire someone who'd made you billions of dollars and two of the most successful films of all time?
Yeah.
I guess it's all about face value, like of the company.
Yeah.
One other thing, because you brought up that stuff, did anything happen to Henry Cavill after he said those controversial things about hitting on women? Or whatever it was? Did anything happen to him, or is that kind of? I guess it's what always happens. Is that controversy has now been replaced by this controversy?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of backlash. I think from memory, and I don't know if we want to go into it really, but I think he said something along the lines of like, it's scary to hit on women in this day and age because the Me Too controversy has meant that anyone can accuse anyone of anything and you can lose jobs and stuff. He said something like that, and I don't want to go into whether or not I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily want to go into it either.
I don't know.
It was more like if anything happened to him, but again,
I think he worded it badly, but I think the fact that there was so much backlash almost proved his point, like in a sense.
Yeah.
Like even for suggesting that there might be a flaw in a system that he's not yet contributed to, he was already under fire. It was like, yeah, I don't know. Outrage culture is hot and quick.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, and this has been like that way. It's like basically, if anything bad happens, just like sit tight for a week, like just be quiet, and then somebody else will take over.
Don't even make a statement.
Just wait, and then the next thing they'll move on to the next thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've got a little bit of time left. I guess we can jump into my one.
Let's jump into yours.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should talk about a different one to keep it Comic-Con related, but I guess it's anyway.
We'll let the host do what he wants just today.
Well, we already had two.
Probably just ended there. But should we do mine?
No, I really
What
want to
was
do
yours,
yours because
Mine?
I
Yeah.
haven't really thought about it.
It's hard to word it in a way, so I'll have to sort of explain it. But basically, it's what's like the biggest ratio from good movie to bad sequel. So I'm not talking about like the worst movie or the best movie. It's more the disparity between like the first movie that came out and then the second
drop
one.
in quality.
The drop in quality. That's it. Like that sort of level.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like
So, do you have a list of films?
well, because
to think
kind
about?
of, yeah. I didn't go too deep into it, but because Incredibles 2 came out,
Yeah.
what was it, like 14 years? And
Yep.
miraculously, that film was really good and it's been critically appraised by everybody. I don't necessarily think it was better than number one, but I had a really good time. Was it worth the 14-year wait? I don't know. But if I was in that position, I wouldn't make that risk. I'm like, because it's just like for every Incredibles 2, there's just some like crap stuff that they dig back up 10 years later and like, let's make something and it doesn't work. So yeah, I had like Anchorman to Anchorman 2. It's fucking terrible. So bad. And people didn't learn because then they announced Zoolander 2. And I was like, guys, did you not remember Anchorman 2? And everyone was like, this will be different. They're like, no, this will be different. This is Zoolander. And I'm like, all right. And then fucking no one talks about that film. I don't even know if anybody saw that film.
I
was on a
and
plane. It was
saw it.
fucking terrible.
I loved how they announced it.
Oh,
They were
how
doing
did they announce
Zoolander. They announced it by
did it like it was an
they
actual
did
fashion show or something.
yeah, it was the Paris Fashion Week. And literally the two characters start walking the line and everyone was like, and like literally he just goes like this to everyone. And everyone's like, is that a peace sign? Or is that Zoolander 2? And turns out it was Zoolander 2. But it was like, it was like...
They got people, they did
The
it.
hype for Zoolander 2 was probably more fun than the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even see
I
it in
agree.
cinema, yeah, because it just, I don't know, like, it's just like, it's like,
It was
don't know.
still funny though with like the whole cult thing and stuff, but like looking at Zoolander 2 and then watching the first, because I walked in, I went and saw it in cinemas because I was
So did I.
excited, because I did grow up with the first one, and I was like, this is so stupid, and then I like watched the old one and I was like, oh my god, this is just as stupid, but it works.
Yeah,
Like,
those
it
movies
works,
are.
but the
Is it just
second one-
nostalgia then?
No, I
didn't.
think there's a certain charm to it. I don't know that it's just sort of lost. I think in the later
Yeah.
ones, like even with Anchorman, like and Adam McKay. But anyway, like we could like delve into those movies, but I'll run through more of the list sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So one you brought up, Michael, was Kingsman over Kingsman 2.
Yeah.
Because I love Kingsman 1, but I thought Kingsman 2 was fucking terrible.
It was horrible to
I
watch.
thought it was hard to watch at some parts. Yeah, I really thought that.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't think it was as
wasn't-
big of a
I
drop
didn't-
as those other ones.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Look, I loved, I absolutely loved the car chase scene at the very start, where he was like in the car and then the arm and stuff and like
Oh yeah.
that was amazing.
I think some of the
And
action
that was
stuff
on
is
it.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And then, but like it kind of just like stayed at like a bit of a mellow tone throughout the whole film, and it was never good and it wasn't bad either. But the first film for me was like incredible.
Yeah, I think it's just that the
Whoa.
first film was so good and then the second one was so average.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just
I think that sort of jumps out
average.
to you.
Because I didn't. There was a lot of things I didn't like about number 2, but one of the and I know the scene where he has to like implant the girl or whatever. That was one of the most horrifying scenes of cinema
There's
history.
just a lot of weird stuff that's like, why are you doing this and why are you making
But
me
even
watch
stuff
it?
like Colin Firth coming back, I didn't enjoy that because
Yeah.
it just felt so forced.
And Channing Tatum like was only on screen for like a little bit.
Yeah, that could
and,
be
Yeah,
so
and they
and
much
Julianne
fun.
Moore, who I
advertised that
love,
a
like
lot.
her whole arc and like her shtick was just
Didn't
so
make
uncomfortable
sense.
to watch.
She was like a cannibal
making
sort of
burgers out
thing?
of people. Yeah, it was just so
Yeah,
like it's like they had to top it and make it more kind of.
Also,
Yeah.
the Elton John jokes in it were just dragged so
Again,
much.
again,
I
I know. I'm just like, why?
I liked the
They were
first.
weird.
If Elton
so
John,
old.
literally, it would have worked if it was like she walked in and she's like, "Oh, this is Elton John," and because like he like is really funny in it, but at the same time, if they had just had that first scene where he's like literally playing the piano and he's like, "Fuck off to her," and then
Doesn't he
and
do
then
like a falcon kick at the end or
yeah,
something?
yeah. He like
It's
has
a
a fight
fucking
scene.
kick.
And
Oh
then,
my
and
God.
then, but like, if they had just left it at that, it would have been like really funny. But they just like dragged it
Yeah.
on, and it was
And
just.
also the Trump sort of message in it, just like with the president is like, because the plot of the movie is like the drug dealers poison all the drug people, poison these drugs, so everyone's sick.
Yeah.
And the president's
That's
like,
right.
oh, just let them die because they're drug people, and just very like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, what,
I
is
didn't
that
realize
did
that
they
was
put them
like
in
a hit on
cages or
Trump.
something?
yeah, and they were in cages and stuff, and it just got so overblown. But the first one's overblown too. But like,
Again, it just has a certain charm to it, I think,
Yeah.
or whatever. But so what else I got? There's a whole bunch of the Disney straight to VHS ones.
Oh,
like
that could-
Aladdin 4, Jafar needs glasses. Yeah, like all those ones.
Jafar needs glasses.
It's like a Family Guy joke. Yeah. 'Cause-
Okay.
Well, it's actually funny because Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, I don't think is that great, but King of Thieves is fucking one of the best movies.
You have a crush on
so
Aladdin's
underrated.
dad as well.
Yeah. Dude, he's got like the Mr. Reed, the Dr. Reed thing, Reed Richards, like the silver,
grey, yeah.
silver fox. No, it's just a really good movie. What
No,
else have I
I've never
got?
seen
Is
it.
there a
I've
film
got-
out there where the second one is better than the first one?
Well,
That was
like the reverse of it. Is we were talking about that earlier. It was Batman Begins to The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Because I didn't give a fuck about Batman Begins. I think Chris Nolan's like a one-hit wonder with The Dark Knight.
We
anyway,
get
no.
probably too much into superhero films, but you could say the same
Yeah.
about because you love Captain America too, and you're not that fussed about Captain America 1.
No, I love number one. I've always really liked number one.
But you would still, but you think 2 is an
I do think
improvement.
two's better. Yeah, I mean, even going back to Guardians, like I think two's better than one, just by a
I
smidge.
don't.
Well, there was a guy I worked with. He thought he loved Guardians 1. I think it was like his favorite, and then 2 he thinks is like the worst thing. And I'm just like, I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. It's just more Guardians. Like, what did you not?
Yeah.
They're trying to be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, like steering away from any superhero stuff. Like, is there a film out there where the first one's better? Sorry, the second one is better than the first one.
I mean, I think, yeah, like, because I guess the point of the question is like, is that kind of disparity? It's just like I can't really think of like a shit movie that then got a sequel that was like awesome. You know what I mean? Because I feel like those movies wouldn't get a sequel if it is bad. But going back to the one you said, Michael, was Indiana Jones 4. Kingdom of the Crystal
Indiana
Skull,
Jones.
which everybody like hates.
Shia LaBeouf.
I
they came
mean,
back.
I'm actually a bit more kind-hearted to the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because
I didn't. Yeah.
Because I don't know, I watched it when I was young and I was like, it's alright. Then I was watching the first Indiana Jones movie, and then I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm just like, they're pretty the same. Like, it's just a lot. What just execution. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is just terrible at it. But like, I don't know.
So I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. So for me, yeah, watching it, I was like, this is fine. I was like, whatever. But I think the main thing is the aliens at the end. I think that's when people are like they get like like that guttural, like what the fuck?
And the little gophers just in the beginning of the movie just around for some reason.
And the monkeys, doesn't he swing
Yeah.
his trees? Okay, I'll take it back what I said. That was terrible.
Fridge.
Doesn't
movie
he
is
escape a nuclear bomb by hiding in a fridge?
Yeah, all right. I take back everything I said. That movie's terrible.
And
Terrible,
Shia
but-
LaBeouf is there, and
I
Shia
like
LaBeouf,
Shia
Shia LaBeouf in the movie is actually pretty alright.
is he?
He's alright. But it's just other stuff. It's just everything else.
I don't remember it. I've blocked most of it.
Yeah. I've noticed you've got one down here, which is actually quite funny. Deadpool. And Deadpool 2.
I think Deadpool 2 was nowhere near as good.
I mean, I thought the first one was
I
like
did not like Deadpool 2. Did not like
yeah, I
it.
didn't like it.
And I felt so bad. I was in the cinemas with a good friend of mine, and he loved it. And he was like, "This is so funny," and I was just like,
I think
Like, I
I
was
enjoyed
like-
most of it, but I don't.
I
It
don't
wasn't.
know.
I thought
Right.
Avengers Infinity War was far more funny and far more creative and imaginative and far more like smarter in like so many ways.
Yeah, it
And,
was.
Like,
It was.
Yeah.
like Deadpool 2 was almost like it's like meant to be like going against the sort of superhero thing, but it felt more traditional of like
Yeah.
him trying to be a better person and stuff like that. Like they're so small scale, and that's what always has bugged me. Like, but I mean they I guess have like a less budget, but number one I thought was fine.
yeah.
I wasn't crazy about it, and then I watched it again recently, and I was like, and then two, I was like,
I think that's just the thing. I think number one, because like it's just a standout. Like it was such a big thing when it
Yeah.
released, and it was just this kind of this new R-rated thing. And then
Yeah,
when
it's
they
the
repeated
highest
it,
grossing R-rating film out there.
and when they repeated it in the second one, it just the magic wasn't there like the first one because it wasn't this new thing. We've already seen most
Yeah.
of what's happened, and like
It wasn't creative anymore. Yeah.
there was some cool stuff in it, like, but I mean the best part for me was like the end credits scene where
Yeah.
he goes back in time. Spoilers for
And
Deadpool 2.
cleans
He goes
up.
back in time and kills the old Deadpool in Wolverine Origins, and I was like, why wasn't that the whole film?
Why wasn't that the
if
film?
that was the plot of Deadpool 2, was like, hey, like they have a fucking time traveler and they do nothing with time travel.
Yeah.
You wanted Deadpool to get the time travel and just bounce around and like have sex with a dinosaur or something like that. I wanted like really crazy shit, and they kept it so like so not crazy. Like the first one, it's like it's like a revenge story to get his girlfriend back, and then this one is like he's got a girlfriend, now he wants a family, and it's like about helping this kid, and it's like these really kind of boring stories, or not boring, what's the word, like traditional or common stories, but then it's just like full of dick jokes and
It's just the
and
same jokes
crudeness.
again and again.
It
yeah.
is, and I was like,
Even
fuck.
the referencey stuff, it's like you're just
Yeah.
references is only one joke just because you're referencing different things. Like
the dubstep joke.
What the
oh my
fuck was
god!
with the double? I was like, is this
that's
and it
5
kept
years
happening.
old.
I was like, is this like
True.
2012? I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, it's not funny, people. Wake up, you cheap. It's like, if the plot was, like, if he literally was like at the start of the film, like, I want to fucking change this movie. Like, that would have just been so funny. Like, him, like, trying to
Yeah.
find out, like, the writers of it or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Because he does that.
If it was something
in Deadpool Kills Marvel in the comics, one
Yeah.
of my favorite comics
Just-
is.
I would have loved him jumping around time, like, between all the movies and stuff
have
like
you
that.
guys
Like,
ever seen some of the old Mel Brooks films, like Blazing Saddles and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, if you want a film that like subverts what you expect, watch Blazing Saddles.
I heard that. It's like, and he also did the producers. As
Yeah,
well.
that sort of thing. Yeah, but Blazing Saddles is the best one for a Deadpool comparison because that's what happens in that film. Like at the very end of it, like the whole thing's filmed in like a desert or something.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they like leave their like studio and they go into like the studio next door and they like they continue the fight because they're all on horseback, like it's a cowboy parody. And so they're like, they like break out of their studio and they like terrorize Hollywood. It's funny as.
It sounds like Monty Python stuff where it's
It's so Monty Python.
It's like there's like the big battle in Camelot, and then like the police just show up and they're like stop that.
But like, imagine if Deadpool had done that, like in Holy Grail, when they're like fighting the giant animated rabbit thing, and then the animator died and the rabbit disappeared.
I wanted the fourth wall to like it's like. He like, why wasn't Kevin Feige in it? You know what I mean? Go that level of meta. Like, get like the Marvel Studio executive.
Like Stan Lee in the first one, he didn't call him Stan. I wanted him to be hey Stan.
Like, hey Stan. It's like
they did the exact same cameo he's always done, and it's like this was the one opportunity you could have called him Stan Lee.
I know. And like, everyone was like, "What's the
him.
best cameo?" Yeah, I'm like, "He's a strip club DJ." I'm like, "That's not whatever." Like if he'd done like the way he calls out things like the superhero, it was like, hey, Stan Lee cameo. Stanley's like I mean, I just like they could have done so much with it. And what bugs me, and I think I was talking about this with you, Michael, is there's a funny phenomenon, and I'm guilty of it. Is it's like the way people react to things. So it's like you go see a movie with a friend, and you're like, I didn't really like it, and they're like, I loved it. You're like, well, I fucking hated it. Like things just escalate.
We do that a lot.
Things just escalate because it's like you somehow need to take the extreme point. That you need to counteract. You need to counteract them with you. And it's like everything's just so extreme nowadays. It's like the polar opposite. It's like or what do they call it? Rubber banding or whip backing. It's like
whiplashing,
it's like I love it. So it's like I hate it. Like we can't just be in the middle and agree. And I did it with Deadpool. Like it's like, and I did it with. The video game God of War, the new one, like I think that game's alright, but it's I'm not crazy about it. But the fact that it's getting 10 out of 10s everywhere and everyone's like, it's the best game ever made, I'm like, this game fucking sucks.
It's kind of like watching David and Margaret at the movies when they'd always take opposite sides and just fight each other. It's just like
that makes for a good discussion.
It does.
Well, I remember when we walked out of Guardians 2 because I watched that with you and Felix. And Jack and we all sort of were silent for a minute because we all had really enjoyed it and we just wanted to like jump into this discussion. And Jack's like, that was so amazing. You said something crazy like that was better than Guardians 1 or something. I can't remember what you said.
I was like, I love that,
Yeah, but me and Felix straight away were like, yeah. And for the next week, he kept messaging us like, guys, come on. I felt terrible.
You really don't like it? They're like, of course we fucking like it, Jack. Like we're just messing with you,
so back to your topic.
I can't think of any more. I had the Matrix and the Matrix sequels. Like there was a noticeable dip of quality.
I've just thought of one sequel better than the original, Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back's better than the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people agree. I'm
the Hoth battle and stuff. Yeah, it's all pretty good.
I'm like, I think I prefer. I think out of the original trilogy, I think the first one's actually my favorite, which I think is quite unique.
I think the first thing you guys were talking about this when I walked in today, and I said something about how it's all derivative, and I sort of stand by that because like even the idea of sequels is just mind-boggling because like where do you draw the line with remakes and reboots and like rehashes and like. You know, Star Wars, is it better than, what's that based off? Seven Samurai or something? Or some other samurai.
The samurai movies, I'm not sure which specific one, but I mean, and you see that with the way they stand. They stand very, like, the samurai sword and the hoods. It's very, like, he takes a lot of inspiration from cultures and throws it in space.
Yeah, and it's like, which is better than which? Like, what's a sequel anymore if everything is just...
Oh, I see what you're saying. You
like, even in the MCU, like... Which one of those is a sequel? Like, or are they all sequels?
It's sort of, I guess,
Incredible Hulk a sequel to Iron Man? Like,
that's a good point. I guess it's tricky now because, like things are this like cinematic universe or things are episodic. Like would you the Star Wars prequels? Would they classify as sequels? Like as a dip? I guess I was thinking more traditional, like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and then also the stuff where they do it 10 years later, like Tron to Tron Legacy. Or like Blade Runner is actually a really good example because I really liked Blade Runner 2049. But it's like when I don't know, it's like I almost want to employ a rule. Like if it's after 10 years, like just don't, just sit on it because for every one that's good, there's about 100 that are shit.
It's that thing like at South Park, like kept making fun of with the Star Wars and the member berries. It's like, remember this?
Yeah.
Remember this?
Yeah.
It's like 10 years later, hey, you remember this scene from this movie? Well, you can see it again.
Yeah. And it's because it's like, even Jurassic World, I think, it's like, it's it's like it has to be like they want to reboot it, but now because everything's like has to be like an all connected universe. It's also it has to like be in the same universe. It has to reference all the old stuff.
So
whilst
Jeff
also being
Goldblum has to be there, but it also has to like.
Who's seen Jurassic World 2?
No, I haven't seen any of the new Jurassic Parks.
Oh, you saw Jurassic World 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long is Jeff Goldblum in that film? Is it like a cameo?
Oh,
I'm not
do you want
saying
me? Can I say it?
Yeah, you can.
No one
you
cares.
can
Yeah.
say it.
Like probably. His face is on screen for probably about 8 seconds.
I knew it. I knew it.
His voice can be heard for maybe a minute or two. He does a voiceover at the start and the
And
end.
he would have walked away with like $30 million.
Millions
Like,
yeah.
I knew that. I knew. I watched the trailer. I'm just like, it's like he's not a big part. Like,
Yeah.
It's even like with like.
He sort of does like an introduction and like a closing statement. That's kind of it.
And he's like, "Oh, good, my laundry is done." Yeah, like a big bag of money and just leaves. Oh my god.
No, I'm not fussed about Jurassic World at all. And
No, well, Jurassic World 2 I thought was really good. I thought it shifted the Jurassic franchise because it was different. It's not... I don't want to go into it. I think you should watch it because I thought Jurassic World 1 was not that.
I've heard
Okay.
enough people say they've enjoyed it that I'm kind of thinking about it because I haven't really been to the movies much. So I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind just going to the movies.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 2, biggest drop.
Well, isn't 3 the one people don't like as well?
2 and 3 are
And like
both not
Godfather
very
Part
good.
3 as well. Apparently that's like because Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 are considered like one of the best movies of all time, and then Part 3
Yeah.
like is a big drop off.
I kind of got a soft spot for Lost World.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, some of the sequences are amazing. Like the whole like.
So I can't remember 2 and 3. Which is the one... Which is which?
They all blend
So
together. For me.
they do kind of blend, but basically, I just remember 2 being the better movie. One's they go to the island to pick up dinosaurs and hunt them down and take them back.
That's 2, I
That's
think.
2. And in the third one,
That's with William
They-
H. Macy and the kid and stuff.
and the kid gets stuck. And there's
Yeah.
another one because there's Jurassic Park. There has to be kids in it. And
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
third one, the kid gets lost in an island and they have to do a rescue
That's the
mission.
one
to
with
find
William
them.
H. Macy, yeah. That's a strange film.
Anywho, guys, I think that's about time. I think
Yeah.
we'll wrap up here.
I think if I do a closing statement, I don't know if we're doing that, but Jurassic Park 2, I've just decided, worst drop. Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 2.
I'll probably go with Kingsman just because it's like fresh in my mind. I'm sure if I delved a little bit deeper into things, I'd probably find some stuff.
I'll go
that'd be-
into the good thing. Like, I definitely think Blade Runner 49 was
Yeah, I agree.
The best
incredible.
I think it was
So
better than the
that's
first one.
that
alright.
was like, so you guys have your negative. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
have
no.
my
Hey,
positive,
that's like
and
my
like
favorite
that's
movie.
like
Yeah, that's
I thought it was better.
like a big boost. It was definitely my favorite movie of last year,
yeah,
and yeah, so that's like
yeah.
Fair
And
enough.
That's where I sit with this
Yeah, we're all kind
conversation.
of. Do you guys all think Dark Knight's better than Batman Begins?
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because I find I didn't care about that movie. I got dragged to see Dark Knight. I was like, oh, whatever. And then it just gets you. That movie, man. I watched it one night, and then it was on TV the next night, and it was like the scene where they're escorting Harvey, and I like literally just stood and watched it. And I'm like, I just watched this yesterday. Oh, that movie's
It's
anyway.
great.
All right.
Did you
that's
have one you wanted to just
Oh,
quickly
sorry.
throw
Yeah,
out?
Mike.
Probably the biggest drop off for me would probably be the Matrix between 1 and 2 and 3. Like, the first one's just like.
They definitely get more sort of convoluted and silly, I suppose. But you said you liked a lot of 3 though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I got a soft spot for these bad third movies and second, like because I watched them as a kid and you just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Well,
see-
same. That's with 2 for me. I love the Burly Brawl, but now like with technology, now I just like fast forward to the Burly Brawl and then watch the
The
Burly Brawl.
Burly Brawl. What's the Burly
Where
Brawl?
he finds all the Agent Smiths,
Oh, that's cool.
and he's like, Mr. Anderson. And
What
he's
about
like,
with the twins
"Yes,
and
we're
the
gonna-"
Frenchman and stuff? You guys don't like that?
we do a topic that's best villains? Fucking Mr. Anderson, man.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's Neo. I mean Agent Smith.
Agent Smith
Where
is,
he's like,
is definitely up there.
Without purpose, we would not. Oh, so good.
You can work on that for the next podcast.
yeah.
All right, that's a tease. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
It's a pleasure being here.
We'll have to have you back. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. ASMR is it's like when they talk really softly into the mic and they make like noises, like they'll like there's like the woman that eats like
even just
The
swallowing and
pickle.
stuff.
the pickles and it's like
Like there's
But
like,
it's like-
literally a lady
they
that's
do
just
it-
eating a pickle and she's like
they do
What's
it like
stand for?
autonomy sensory meridian something, I don't know.
Cool.
It's like it gives people
I
like
thought it would
tingles
just
and
be
stuff.
like-
There's just certain
Right.
sounds that like set people off. Like it can
Oh,
be,
I see.
it can be like a kinky thing, but some people it's more just like almost like a relaxing thing. Like for me, I need the I like being whispered in the ear or like that kind of sounds when it's really close. But I
You like that?
Yeah, well,
But I need. But it's like I can't just.
What if it's a voice you didn't know though?
Well, yeah.
Hello.
Gosh, you've got to
You
scream
just
into
like
the
sit
mic.
there
Sean.
like, fuck.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I get it. I'll try not to get excited at all this podcast.
It's more like because I can't just listen to audio. Like I need the kind of the warmth and the breath. Like I need that. It has to be a real thing.
Yeah, I'm
That's
getting
what gets me.
freaked out, even as you're describing it.